everybody. It's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty. It's April the 24th, 2026. We're just about done with April. It's been going by fast. So let's see what we have been up to before we get into the main event today. So I have several projects I have been working on. So this is called the Australian Animal Table Runner. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I did use actual authentic Australian fabrics in this, ones that I've had in my stockpile for quite some time. Now the animals, the one to your furthest left, this is what they call a quokka, which are the most photogenic animals on the face of the planet. They only live really in one spot in Australia. That's on an island called Rottnest, off from Perth. And we went and saw them, and they're just to die for. They're so fluffy. If you go onto YouTube and search for quokka, Quokka, not to be confused with the stuff you use with nacho chips. That's guacamole. That's how they get it when they run over a car, runs over one. Never mind. Okay. But you'll see what I mean by being the most photogenic animals, because they smile for the camera. They're so cute. Beside that, that is not an ostrich. It's an emu. By the way, ostriches are not native to Australia. They're native to Africa. But they got transplanted, some of them, to Australia.
Yeah, but you said the ostrich. This is emu.
I know, but I said you won't, but this is an emu. But people mix up emus with ostriches sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're different beasts.
Yeah.
They look from a distance kind of the same, but
if you see them in a zoo, keep clear of them, because they like to peck at people.
They like to grab at you, and they grab and hang on. Like, yeah, they want to eat you. This one, I don't think we ever saw any of these little guys. I don't know, maybe in a zoo.
We saw one in a zoo. It's a bilby.
A bilby.
Which is like a little teeny tiny kangaroo.
Yeah, they're little tiny things. Beside that is a kookaburra, which, yes, they do sit in gum trees, and, as the song goes. And when you're near a spot where a kookaburra is, because they're loud. They're very loud. And the one on the end is a
wombat.
Wombat. Yeah, it's a wombat. Yeah, they're big. Yeah. And they're fluffy. And I got to touch one, but he wasn't very happy. They brought him out in the zoo we were in, or the animal sanctuary, and the zookeeper had him on his lap, and you could go and sit next to him and have your picture taken, and of course I did. But he said you could pet them on the head, you could touch them almost anywhere, just don't touch them on their thigh, because they will eat you. They don't like to be touched there. They're very proper. I think they're the kind of animal, if you're going to get that fresh with them, you better be taking them out for dinner first and getting a couple of drinks into them. But anyways, these are really cute. And I deviated from the pattern slightly in the final design. It didn't call for the points, but I thought it needed the points. And I also want to showcase more of the African fabric than just doing a straight border around it.
Is that African fabric?
Or not African, Australian. They both start with A. What do you want? Geez, correct me much. Okay, fine. This is what it's like when you have dementia. Okay, just saying. And I didn't mean me, I meant him. No. But as I was saying, I put the points on it. And I did do some additional quilting. In the pattern themselves, in each little panel of the animal, there is quilting in there, and I used, if you look at it closely, you can see the lines of the quilting. I didn't want to use a color that was going to stand out, because I didn't want to take away from the beauty of the fabric.
Why didn't you? Oh yeah, I was going to say, why didn't you use a black background if you wanted the animals to stand there?
Because I wanted to bite me. Right off the bat, we just got started, and already attack. Yeah, okay, fine. But in the border pieces and the triangle pieces, I did do some walking foot quilting in those as well. So it's on my dining room table, upstairs now. That's why there's this white background behind it, because that's our tablecloth up there. I should make a tablecloth, something with color, but I do like the white one. Anyways, that is one of the projects I was working on. And of course, now every week so far, I've been showing you bits and pieces of the Alaska quilt. Well, I've been doing that on the Idiot Quilter more so than on here. I've got that on hold at the moment because I wanted to get ahead with the Art East second star to the right, or as commonly referred to, the Peter Pan quilt. And you can see I've got Peter done. I actually, when I took this picture, I worked some more today, and I've got Wendy's pieces all done now too. That's only part of Wendy. And then we can move on to the next character. But on Monday, on the live version of Monday Morning Coffee with Steven, I will be talking extensively about Art East kits. Not to complain about them, because I'm not complaining about them. They are brilliant. They are well written. They're fun. They're creative. Lots of little bits. But one thing I have noticed when people talk about the Art East quilts, they all, just everybody is just in love with them, and rightly so. But I'm going to tell you the real story, because it's not all hearts and flowers, okay, with it. And so we're going to talk about that more extensively on Monday Morning Coffee with me. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, I do enjoy making it. I don't enjoy the cutting of the pieces. But as you get working with all the little pieces and start putting them together, the images start to emerge. So in a sense, it's kind of like, and I've said this before about it, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it. So yeah, it's coming along, but because we're going to Japan in another couple of weeks, and this is a block of the month kind of a thing, although I have the entire pattern because I bought the kit and it came with it, I want to get a little bit ahead because Wendy's really not due until the end of May, but half of May we won't be here. So I have Wendy out of my hair at the moment. No, we'll come to that. So, how are you coming on my shirt?
Well, I haven't done anything since Sunday, but I was gonna maybe after our recording, I was gonna do the collar and maybe start getting the buttons on there. So all I have to do is put the collar on and sew up the buttons, and then I'm done because I've got it all hemmed and everything. So.
Now, one of our subscribers, after we showed that last week, said, you could embroider a cat hanging out of the pocket on it, and then you've got steampunk and cats, and two of my favorite things, cats and steampunk.
Yes, I could do that.
You could do that. But I said, however, that is something that would need to be done before you start putting the panels together.
Probably, yeah.
With it, and on this shirt, no. But just
maybe sometime in
future
the future.
ideas for incorporating.
I have thought of putting embroidery on the shirts, which I haven't really done much, but yeah, that's a consideration.
Yeah. So anyways, whoever made that suggestion, thank you.
Like maybe on like one of these kind of shirts, I'll put a real embroidered butterfly.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. When you make it, but it'd be easier when you've got it.
Yeah, when I have the pocket.
Yeah. Before you stitch it onto
before I stitch it on. Yeah.
That, and I think what they were talking about is having it more like up here, little kitty poking its little head out, or that'd be cute, something like that too. You could do that. That wouldn't be that hard. But you'd have to do it when you're not before you sew it together. Anyways, it's an idea for thought. We always like ideas to think about. Okay, but of course, Walter has been working away at his free motion quilting, and I don't think I should show you any of this. It makes me upset. You do this. All right, I will. I'll show it to you anyways. Feathers! Vertical feathers. Oh my God. They look good.
They're still a little lopsided, but.
Well, ever seen a straight feather? But pretty damn good. And actually, this first picture, this is where you started, right? Over the far left?
Yeah, I think I did.
And then you worked your way down. So you can see there's
also I changed the way the feather was like the first two are just sort of one line. Whereas the second two, I was trying to do more of a curve. And there's a technique to go around the curve. So
you can see here where there's a little bit of oopsies.
Yeah.
Like these little, but then this next one, less oopsies. And then these ones.
Do you have the one that I did sideways? No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's these.
Well, I was doing them vertical, and I thought, well, I got to try and figure out how to do the feathers in a different, sideways. And I had a little bit of problem, especially on the bottom row, because I was going, okay, the top part was easier. The bottom part was a little bit more difficult, but I began to get the hang of it.
Yeah, it's coming to the point. So what, you still got some space on that sheet?
Yeah, I do. I want to do some more. Actually, I've been sort of focusing on feathers because that's something that I've always liked the look of. And yeah, also, seems like once you do one pattern, then you go back to another pattern that you've done a little while ago, that's completely different because you've already played with it that way. It becomes easier because you've got some more used to, you get more used to handling the machine and
Yeah,
making
yeah.
thing. And a lot of the patterns that you do free motion are circles or variations of circles. So and that seems to be the part of all that whole movement
Hmm.
of how to handle the machine and stuff like that.
Now you said that you want to get a curved ruler so you could what for the spines on the.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the videos I've seen online, they are using curved rulers to get a base curve
Hmm.
on
So that's
so
like
you
your
can
your
draw a
stem plate.
wavy line on, let's
Mm.
say, a border or something, and then you follow that wavy line
Yeah.
around.
We went down yesterday to Whirls and Whirls and Swirls, and which is Tracy's where we bought our APQS and that. And we forgot she's
Did you
teaching it.
show this one down there?
Yeah, I did.
No. Okay. Yeah, on
What? What is this?
the sideways one that I was doing, I used one of the circle rulers we have for the
Oh,
humps,
okay.
and I found that was maybe a little too extreme of a curve.
Too much of a hump
Yeah,
to get over.
yeah,
Yeah. With it. But we went down to see Tracy, but she's teaching a 2 day course down there on free motion quilting. And when we walked in, there was all these ladies sitting at a big table, and Tracy was up at a whiteboard drawing some things out. So we didn't want to bother her. Obviously, she was
yeah,
in the middle of a class, and the same today. So maybe we'll pop down there on Saturday because she sells, of course, rulers for long
yeah,
arm quilting, and so she may have something that he's looking for
yeah,
there.
yeah. And she can maybe give me some advice too.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll show her your work too as well, so she can critique it because she's a brilliant
Hmm.
free motion quilter. I mean, she just in
Hmm.
customizing, she's been doing it for years, so
Hmm.
she's a very good resource. Anyways, you're coming along quite nicely.
Yeah,
There's a quilt out there now hanging up, that
yeah,
scrap quilt for when you get
yeah,
finished on your bed sheet. Next
yeah,
thing is to now practice on see how you can do with a real quilt
yeah,
with it. I think you'll find too when you do a real quilt, some of these things that might be glaring as
yeah,
mistakes right now or as oopsies, even if you make those oopsies on the quilt, no one's going to notice it.
yeah.
You know, when in doubt,
Well,
use
especially if you
light
don't
colored.
show the quilt to anybody.
Yeah, well, or just use really lighter colored thread with it. But
Yeah.
anyways, it's coming along very nicely. My plan is working. Okay, so let's go back to
And
here.
actually, I'm beginning to enjoy it more
Well, that's good.
because I sort of like what's coming out. I'm enjoying it more, but I do find that like when I start in one position that I sort of like get stuck because okay, where am I going with this?
Oh, you mean like where can you go next to
Yeah, or
yeah.
what shape am I gonna do? Because there is a fear of screwing it up.
Mm.
So,
Have no fear of flying. Yeah. Just do it. Just do it. Do not let fear
and
stop you.
so far I've been still using the machine on stitch regulator. I haven't
Oh yeah.
taken it off a stitch regulator, so that would be a step
Yeah,
to do
another
as
step
well.
there. But, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah.
Either.
Well, apparently, if you have it, the movement is supposed to be more fluid. But I think what
Off
happens,
the stitch regulator?
yeah, and I have tried it a little bit, but then I get bogged down with it.
Hmm. Well, It's coming along
Yeah.
nicely. You've only been doing this for about a month.
Yeah.
So,
And I haven't done it a lot. Like I'm not like doing it hours and hours every day. They do say, I read somewhere that you shouldn't do it for more than about half an hour at a time or something like that, because you'll start to get tired. I
oh,
mean, I'm sure that once you start doing the quilting on a more regular basis, you won't get as tired. But
yeah.
if you're just starting out, it's because I do notice that after, if I go a little too long with it, that it, my designs start to go weird.
Mm. Well, they say it takes 10,000 hours to perfect something new that you're learning how to do.
Mm.
You only have 9,900
Yeah, yeah. It's
hours
like
to go.
frequent flyer points, right?
Yeah, with it. So, anyways, stay tuned. We'll show more. Actually, I have a plan. I don't know if it'll be next week because I do have something already prepared kind of for next week for in this spot with the Accuquilt. But to have Walter actually, we'll watch him do it. Um, as you know how this all works. He'll probably screw up royally then when he knows
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm showing that. But we're coming to that point. Yeah. Okay, announcements. Things coming up. Sewing with me on Wednesdays, as always. Also, pop-up sew day probably on Saturday, May the 1st. So that's 1 week from this Saturday at the time of recording this. Today is April 24th. Tomorrow's April 25th. So it would be 1 week beyond that. It'll be the last pop-up sew day. Well, we haven't had a pop-up sew day for a while, but that's because the last one I had, I think, was at the 1st of April or maybe a tail end of March. And then with the retreat, that kind of filled in. And with us going to Japan in the middle of May, it's either I do it before we go or we don't get another pop-up sew day until about June. So I decided the next weekend would be good. Next Saturday, May the 1st. That is that May the 1st. No, it's not May the 1st. That's May the 2nd, I think. Wednesday's April 30th, isn't it? 30 days in September, April, May. 30 days in April.
27th is Monday, so
So 28, 20. Oh, wait. No, so it's.
May.
Check the calendar. May 1st.
May 1st is Friday.
Okay, so it'll be May
2nd.
2nd. Oh, too bad it hadn't fallen on the 4th of May, because then it would be, May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
But anyways, but what'll happen is next week, not in this video, but next week's video, and possibly on Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday, there will be a link to the Zoom for that. And on Monday, I will send out that link to everybody that's on the mailing list as well. So I hope you can join us then. So May the 2nd, pop-up sew day, unless you're told otherwise. Okay. Now this week on Monday Morning Coffee with Stephen, it's going to be the live version. They've started something new that the last Monday of every month, I'm going to do Monday Morning Coffee as a live. So it's going to start at 8 p.m. There's already
8 a.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m.
You said 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's what I meant though, was 8 a.m. People know what I'm talking about.
No.
Anyway, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, on this coming Monday, which is April the 27th, I think. Yes. And yeah, what are we going to talk about? Well, I've got a whole list of things. So you're going to want to have a pot of coffee ready because it's going to be lengthy. The last live ran almost 2 hours. I'll try not to go over 2 hours, but I have a feeling this one's going to be that long too.
A lot of people talk back.
Yes, and that's why it's long. And that's what I encourage is, that sounds bad, they all talk back. No, I encourage in the chat part of it for people to ask questions, make comments, and I just go with the flow. What's there? I have some things planned that I can talk about, but whatever you put in the chat will be priority over that. And I actually quite enjoyed the last one. I don't know if anybody else did, but I had a good time. So, it's all about me. So why not? So that's this coming Monday. Now this week on Idiot Quilter, I by request, I've had this request several times over the last couple of months. I finally made a video of how I bind a quilt. Now, there are multiple ways to bind a quilt, and you do you. If you have a method that is working out fine for you, you go ahead. I'm not going to pretend that my method is the be all and the end all, although it is. No, I'm not going to pretend that at all, but I have put together a video showing you how I bind a quilt, and I know a lot of people have problems, and I was one of those people too, getting those mitered corners with your binding. Well, I have perfected a method that works for me, and it is not the method you often see where, you know, you come close to the edge of the quilt, to the end of the one side of a quilt, and then you veer off at a 45-degree angle, and then you fold your binding in that. Yeah, I always found that I either didn't veer off soon enough or I veered off too late, and then that's what's giving me a problem making mitered corners because my binding wasn't in the right position. Well, I have a method that works much better than that. And so that's in that video, and that went up this week already. So if you haven't seen it, you may want to check it out. That's the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so I have mentioned this. I have patterns available. I have, for the people who are at the retreat, they got my latest patterns. Actually, it's 3 patterns, but they're really just a variation on one pattern. One was the Quilt of Valor one that I call Falling Leaves, based on a panel. The second one, also based on a panel, was the same one, but different fabric line completely, and that was Healing Waters. I used indigenous fabrics for it. And I created a third pattern that I call Pick Your Own Journey, which is the same pattern as the other 2, except there aren't any fabrics or panel in it. So it'll work with any panel you might have laying around. And when I designed these, you know, you see a lot of panels, and you go, oh, that's really nice. But most times when there's a pattern available for those panels, it is one that basically throws some borders on it. And it's done, quick and easy. Well, I don't want to do those kind. So I developed these patterns where they look a little bit more sophisticated in my mind than just add a strip of fabric on either side. Call it done. Also, I don't like working with panels because panels are never cut straight and you got to figure out your measurements. Well, these patterns, I've done that already for you. So I thought I would show you though that those patterns, but I also have other patterns and they're all free. They're all listed in the show notes below. Just click on the link. It'll take you to my Google Drive and you download it as a PDF. So this is the one that I did as a Quilt of Valor. In this series of 3. I call it Falling Leaves because I think that's basically what the panel was called. But when I saw the panel, I really liked the panel. I liked the colors. And in this particular case, I'm using Northcott O Canada Series 13. And I believe they just come out with Series 14. So I haven't really examined that yet. But that's one. Another one, this is not one part of that series. I think this is my first pattern that I ever wrote, called Cornered Stars. You'll notice the size, it's a square, it's 50 by 50, so it's not a huge quilt, but it's really easy. You'll find in the pattern how to make it bigger. Because if you can do half square triangles, you can do this quilt. Because that's primarily what it's made up of, squares and half square triangles. So it's really easy. This one is called Windmills and Stars, a little bigger, 58 by 58. And it has a secondary pattern that is formed into it. And you can see there are windmill blocks and some half square triangles. And yeah, so really it is only a couple of blocks, but it gives you this secondary panel in it. There is, for Windmills on My Mind, I got these out of order somehow, I think. I'll come back to this. Yeah, this one, Windmills on My Mind, is a variation on the windmill block with some extension pieces to it. This one's great if you want to do some free motion quilting on it because there's a lot of negative space you can fill in, or even just simple walking foot quilting, you know, echoing straight lines will work with this too. And I have a tutorial that I wrote for this, and it's on my channel. It's been there for a year. I don't know how many people have actually gone to it or even realized it was there. The story behind this particular quilt is I designed it for a retreat that I had been asked to teach at, and I was going to be teaching this quilt, and then it turned out we didn't go for various reasons. And I'm not going to get into those reasons about it, but let's just say it meant us crossing the border. And at that point in time, as it is still today, Canadians going down to the other side of the border, not a good thing. So didn't go. But I did create this tutorial. And my plan was that the person running the retreat could give out the pattern to everybody and could give them the link to this tutorial if they needed it, or even project it like up during the retreat. Apparently the pattern never got handed out. Nobody got it. So anyways, yeah, I could go on for days about all of that, but I'm not going to. But anyways, so this tutorial is available for Windmills on My Mind. This is Healing Waters, and it's the same pattern as Falling Leaves, just a different panel, different fabrics. And so that's available as well. That one works out to 65 by 76, so it's a little bigger. Again, if you need them to be a little longer, you can always add another border or make these borders a little bit bigger, whatever grabs you. And this is the one I call Pick Your Own Adventure Quilt Pattern. It's the same one as those two I showed you, Healing Waters and Falling Leaves, but it's all done in this format as a diagram. So basically you pick your panel, follow the cutting instructions for the panel that I include in this, and then you build the rest of it with whatever fabrics you want to use. And I even give you a suggestion on how you can pick fabrics that'll go with your panel. In case, I mean, to me, I thought everybody knew how to do this, but I have found that not necessarily. People sometimes get, they freeze when it comes
mixed up.
Yeah, like what the pick. Well, all you need to do, and it's wrote it in the pattern, is go to your panel, isolate about 4 colors that are in that panel. Oftentimes there is on the selvage, you will find a bunch of dots of colors. That's all the colors that are in the panel. And you just use that as your guide. Find fabrics that are close to each of those colors and away you go. So it's not a difficult pattern to do because I'm not a difficult person when it comes to designing these things. So yeah, as I said, they're available to you. They're all free of charge. Download them all, download one, whatever. The only thing I ask is if you do one of my patterns, when you get it all done, if you wouldn't mind sending me a picture of it so I can share it here, share it on Idiot Quilter episode as well with it, because I'd love to see what you did with my pattern. If by chance you find something you consider to be a mistake in the pattern, I will hate you, but send it to me anyways. On it, I've been through these patterns very carefully, tested them in the whole bit, but you know, what you see in your mind when you're reading it, because you've worked with it so much, and what is that somebody else will see who hasn't worked with it, could be two different things. So if you find something that you think is I should know about, just send it to me as an email or drop it in the comment section of one of my videos, and I'll take a look at it. And if there is something I need to improve, change on it, I will. I'll change it and I'll make the correction available to whoever wants it. Okay, so that takes us to Accuquilt, and we're continuing our series on this. We have done the 8-inch cube. We have done the 12-inch cube. Now we're going to go the other end. Now, I thought the 12-inch cube was the biggest, but apparently they have come out. I don't know how long ago they came out with this, but Accuquilt has come out with the 16-inch cube. So that's massive. It's on sale right now. No, sorry, it is not. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, they always
have it on sale. Yeah, this is not a sale. This is what their price is all the time. It's $400, and that's US. So this is an expensive cube set. But if you like making bigger blocks, then you might want to look at this. Now, will this work with all of the machines? No. It will work with the Go. It will work with the Go Big. Um, but there's a smaller machine I think that they came out with that's electric, and if I go something, I don't think it works with that because the I
Yeah,
think
so it's best so for you to check to make sure that whatever machine you have, that this block will work with it.
yeah. Now they do tell you, and I saw it on here
Yeah,
somewhere, but I'm not sure where that is now.
they
But
usually tell you where it
yeah,
is.
usually tell you they don't have a puller.
They have a list somewhere that shows you which blocks work with which.
Yeah, but well, just the size of it, you need a bigger
If you
machine.
go to cutters,
Well, if you go to cutters, well, here's the machines. Okay, there's the one that I was talking about, the Go Bolt Electric. I don't think it'll go into that one, but it will go in the Go Big Electric, and it'll go with this one, the Go.
yeah.
Ready, Set, Go. I don't think it'll work with that. I think that's a little narrower
Oh no,
machine.
I think that's the same. It's ready, set, go. Is the go is the go with the 8-inch block included.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
There's the Go Me, which is smaller.
Yeah, that's the one that, yeah, that's the one that they won't,
Yeah.
that
A
one
lot
wouldn't
of
fit in.
things don't fit in the Go Me,
No, it's,
but they seem to be marketing a lot of their products to go with the Go and the Go Big.
yeah. With it. And of course, they have the studio, but the studio can handle any of them. But that's the industrial one.
Yeah.
That one's really expensive, and it's meant for, people who own a shop or are going to do a lot of cutting for a
Yeah.
business.
Like if you go under fabric cutter comparison in the middle,
Where
down here,
fabric, okay.
see,
Oh
and this
yeah,
will tell you which dyes go with which.
yeah. So yeah, that all that information's there. So you'll want to check that before you buy. If you've already got a machine, check which sets you can use with it.
Yeah, because if you'll see there right now, it says the Go Me only handles 275 dies, where the Go handles 425, and the Go Big, which is 3 over Go Big, has 450 dies, whereas the Go Bolt has less dies that it deals with. But you will be able to find on the website as to which dies work with which.
Yeah. Am I missing something here? Where are you seeing which machine these are compatible?
Compatibility 275
Yeah.
plus Go dies, 425
Oh, this
plus.
matches with this up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. I get it now. All right, fine. So I'm a little slow. What do you want? Anyways, so they do have, that's the largest. Am I going to buy it? No. I don't need one that size. With it, especially in Canadian dollars, that's $500,000. So yeah.
Well, yeah, the Go, I would imagine 16-inch blocks are quite large, are quite massive.
Yeah, well, they
I
actually,
suppose if you're making a king size quilt.
yeah, they'll be really big. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. Okay, so, but this week we're going to focus on the smallest of the Qube sets, and that's the 4-inch. So I've made a video of that, as I do, and we're just going to insert it here.
Okay, so this week we're going to show you the smallest cube. Last week we showed you, well, I thought it was the largest one, the 12-inch, but apparently Accuquilt a while ago came out with a 16-inch cube, which I do not have. But the smallest one is a 4-inch, and I don't think they'll go much smaller than that. So here we have the standard configuration that we have seen in the other cube boxes. We have a couple of boxes of dies, and then we have this little one right here. Let's pull that out. And in this, we have a cutting mat for this particular cube set. Every cube set comes with a cutting mat. And we have the instruction booklet. Looks very much the same as the instruction booklet for the other cubes. It is the same patterns inside it. I'm just going to put this back. But they are The instructions, cutting instructions, are for pieces that will work with this cube set. Now, the numbering on the cube sets, just trying to find my page here for the pattern we're going to do. Okay, there's the pattern we're going to do. They call it the Schoolgirls Puzzle Number 2 block pattern. The blocks themselves are all numbered on the edge, and these numbers are the same numbers that match up with the same numbers in the other boxes. They keep them consistent. So here in this box, we have a 5, a 6, a 7. 8 is new. We've seen 5. Have we seen 6? I don't think we have seen 6. We have not seen 8 yet. 1 and 2, I believe we've seen, and 3 and 4 we have seen. So this pattern calls for a 2, a 5, a 2, a 5, and a 5. So there's only 2 dies we're going to use for this particular one, and that's the number 2 and the number 5. So let's go to the box and locate our number 2, and it's in this set. And let me read the number. This is the number 2 right here. You can see I have used this one before because this one makes 1.5 inch unfinished squares, or 1 inch finished, and it makes 4 of them in a go. And we need a 5, and the 5 is in the other box. So let's get that out. Here's the other box. And number 5 is right here. Now look, I have not yet used from this set the number 5. So it's still got its original wrapping on it. And I've had these cubes for a while. So let's put this away and take this. And we're going to take our scissors and just slice this open. And of course, you can see it also has a pattern. So there's lots of patterns. All the dies come with another pattern card that show you what you can make with that particular die. Now, you do have to add other dies to it because this is the number 5. It calls for a 4 and a 2 and a 6 as well to make this particular pattern. But it's nice. You've got another pattern here, another potential block that you can make. So we've got our 2 dies out. So now we need to select our fabric for this. And I've already done that. I'm just going to move this out of our way. And the colors I have picked for this, they're using a pink, a blue, a white, and a red. Well, I am going to use the white because that's our background color. So I'm going to use a white, but I'm also going to use this as my red, and this is my pink, and this as my blue. Or did I get those mixed up? Let's see. Red, and number 2 will be green. So the square's up here. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. So I am told exactly which dies I need, as I've already said, and how many pieces I need to cut. So I need to cut 2 of these number 2s, 6 of this triangle, number 5. I need 4 more of number 2 square. I need 4 more of number 5 and 10 more of number 5. So a lot of triangles in this. And you know, if you were doing this by hand or with rulers, that might take you a bit, but Accuquilt makes it very, very easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little space here on my tabletop, and I'm going to bring up the machine and I'll show you my cutting. So the instructions say, and I'm just cutting them in the order the instructions put them in, I need 2 of the 1.5 inch or unfinished or 1 inch finished squares. Well, that's this die number 2. You see I have 4 here, so I'm going to have a few extra. I'm just going to put my fabric over top of that, cutting mat on that, and put it in the machine. So yes, I'm going to have a couple of extra, but I'm only making 1 block. But if I was making multiple blocks, that would not be a problem at all. And it's not a problem now. So 1, 2. So this gave me, because I doubled my fabric over and I forgot that I had, so I've gone a little overboard, you might say. I've ended up with 8 of these when I only need 2, but that's okay. So that's cut. So the next one is the triangle, and it's also out of the same red, but I need die number 5, and here it is. And these are going to be half square triangles, so I need 6 of these. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I'm going to cut more than I need. Now, you may consider this a bit of a waste in fabric. And yes, it is a bit. But for the sake of the demo, I'm not worried about it because these pieces are random pieces in my back quarter scrap drawer. So I put it through, give it a little rub. And here we go. Now it said I need it 6. Well, I got a lot more than 6. I got, what would I get? 8? No, 12. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. No, I got 12 because I doubled it. No, I got 16. Yeah, math fails me. Again, not a big problem. Now, I could fiddle around and just cut fabric that was just big enough for maybe 2 of these, and there'd be a little bit of scrap. It all depends on you. If scrap bothers you, if you feel you're wasting fabric, well, cut down your fabric. Okay, the next one is a square again. And again, I need 4 squares. So I'll just use 1 layer of fabric on it this time. And on this one, I'm going to use my green. Now, you may not like my color combinations, and that's okay because, to be honest, I don't really like them either. But I'm just pulling these out. It's all for the demo. So I'm not too particular. But of course, if I was doing an actual quilt with these, I would be much more picky about my fabrics. So now I've got a little bit of overhang here. I should cut that off, but I'm not going to. I just slide it in. It can handle it. So I mean, you don't have to get really, really precious about cutting your fabric before you put it through the die. Now, sometimes you will get where the die didn't quite cut, like one strand of the fabric didn't get cut. And I don't know if you noticed, but I need to clean out this die a little bit. And that's what that pick was for. If you see, there's a little bit of fabric stuck in where the blades are. But I've got my 4 of these. So put that to the side. And then I need another number 5. And on a number 5, I need yellow, and I need 4 of them. So again, I just need a single layer of fabric. And in the machine it goes. Now remember, the reason I'm rubbing the cutting mat, see, you can see here, it didn't cut all the way through. That's because there's a little piece of fiber stuck down in there, but it's not a big deal. I just take my scissors and just cut that. You shouldn't really pull on them because, you know, you could fray your fabric more. So I've got those. I need it only 4. And I need 10 half square triangles. I need 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to get 8 out of 1 layer of fabric. So I'm just going to take my white, because that's the color I'm using. And I'm going to cut more than I need because I'm lazy. And where did I put my, oh yeah, there it is, the little mat. And it's always a good idea to move your dies around along the bar because, like the smaller ones, so you get even wear on the rollers on the inside. It's not a big problem, but you know, it's the little things that add up. Okay, we have these. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I've got more than enough because I only needed 10. So I have all my pieces cut out now. Now I'm going to start laying them out for sewing. So I'll be back to show you how that works. Okay. So in the instructions, might be a little difficult to see here, and I think I mixed up my colors a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Not for this anyways. I need to make 4 half square triangles, and you know that because the Accuquilt die cuts off the dog ears beforehand, it's really easy to line up your pieces perfectly. So I just fold them over, right sides together, and I'm lining up the edge, the long edge, and the little short corners so everything matches up accurately. So there will be no trimming necessary for these half square triangles like you would have if you did them in the traditional way without the Accuquilt, which saves you some time. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of trimming, but trimming is a necessary evil. So there, I have these 4. I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam from this point to this point along that edge, and I'll have those done, and then we'll move on to the next step in building this block. So the next part in making our block is to sew these 4 pieces together, 2 half square triangles, 2 1.5 inch squares, and we're making 2 of these. So basically we're just making a 4 patch right here. So I'm going to take those to the sewing machine and sew these together. So I have my 2 little 4 patches all sewn together and pressed, and I am not pressing my seams open. I'm just pushing them to one side, but you could do it open, your choice, whichever way you like. And now I need to make 6 more half square triangles using this combination, same combination as here. And this is where I think I screwed up my colors in cutting it, but it'll be fine. So I'm going to do that and then show you how we do the final, or how we make the next little 4 patch block. So I have my half square triangles laid out, the 6 of them that I made, and then we've added to that one little yellow square that's a 1.5 inch unfinished, 1 inch finished. And we're going to sew this as a 4 patch to make 2 of these. And now we'll have all our units, and we just need to put all our units together for the final block. So now I have all the little unit pieces together, and all I need to do is sew the larger 4 patch together, and I will have my, what did they call this one? Schoolgirls Puzzle number 2. Done. I'll bring the finished product back to you in a sec. So there we have it. There's the little block all done. And I think what's really good about the 4-inch block set is if you like to make little mini quilts, because cutting all the little pieces for a mini quilt and sewing them together can be a little bit tedious. And this takes some of the tedium out of doing that. Since, you know, with half square triangles especially, you don't have to trim them down. They're already easy to put together, all that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's a 4-inch. So where do we go from here? Well, you've asked me to show you the add-on boxes, and I have a couple of them with the angles and corners. So next week, we'll explore some of those.
Okay, so maybe next week or whenever. It depends on when I want to do, or may do it in addition to with Walter. We'll see how that all works out. But I do have a video prepared for the add-on sets. Every one of the cubes come with an add-on, 2 add-ons. One is they call corners and one they call angles. So I've done a video showing you what you can make with and how it works with the corners. and I'll do one for the angles down the road as well. And then after that, with the Accuquilt series, I thought I might start looking at some of the big dies that I have never really used, like the double wedding ring block, because that one has curves. And to date, I haven't really shown you how Accuquilt handles blocks that have curves. And if you're afraid of doing curved piecing, the Accuquilt is really good for this because the way they set it up. Well, we'll talk about that when we do that particular video series. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this week. So, do you have anything, Walter, more you want to say? No, not going that. Yeah, and as far as the Idiot Quilter ones are concerned, I have a whole bunch of videos I've been making over the last few weeks, and I have a bunch more I'm making in the future about different things. So like this week I told you I made a video showing you how I bind a quilt. Well, I've got some other ones, and I have one for the Healing Waters quilt that I'm going to start on the next Idiot Quilter, and I'm going to take you through how I made that quilt. And I'm going to take you right to the beginning as to how I designed it using EQ8 as well. So they're sort of tutorials, but not in the traditional sense. It's more or less a recording of my process through making that particular quilt pattern, but along the way you'll see how to put it together too. So that's going to be done as a series, different video each week, building through. And if you wanted to treat it like a sew along, you could. Which means that, and we'll talk more about this on Tuesday on the Idiot Quilter, it means that you need to get yourself a panel and you need to sort out the fabrics you want to use. However, it's not going to be like a traditional sew along. You'll understand when you see the first couple of videos of it, what I'm talking about. Okay, that's it for us right now. Tune in to Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday, and 1 week from this Saturday we will have a pop-up sew day, so watch your email for those of you on the mailing list for the link, and for everybody else, just look down in the show notes, not on this one today, but starting with Stephen and Walter Live and through to the end of next week, you'll find the link for it. Okay, nothing else to say?
No.
Then have a good weekend, have a good day. We'll see everybody later. Bye for now. Hi, I'm just going to interrupt my program for just 1 second to remind you to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. That's all I ask of you. Show me a little love. Thanks.